Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this first impressions walkthrough exploration discussion about the Entanglement Tarot by Sarah McMenemy. All right, first off, Sarah, your last name. I had to practice that because it's kind of like anemone. Do you know that word? Anemone? It's like a sea thing. It was like that. It took me a second, but I hope I got it right. Please don't tell me if I didn't. No, I'm just kidding. You can tell me if I didn't. Hopefully I didn't, though. I'd like to think that was correct. Anyways, enough babbling. Okay, let's chat about the Entanglement Tarot because I'm real excited about this one. I'm excited about like everything I've been bringing in lately because I've been bringing in, relatively speaking, much less than typical for me. But the things that I've been getting, I've been really, really stoked for. So really excited about this little deck. This is the Entanglement Tarot. And when I first spotted this, I knew right away I wanted to back it because the concept of it was so incredibly cool. And I can't wait to discuss it and share with all of you. Now, I will say, when I backed this, I wasn't entirely sure. Like, I hadn't really given any thought to what size the cards were going to be. I just knew they were going to be in a cool shape, which we'll be looking at in just a second. When this came in and I saw it was this really cute, like, little box, I was really kind of excited because I think it's going to make this particular deck infinitely more usable. But just for comparison's sake, this is the size of a, like, standard tarot box. So they're similar thickness to, this is an indie deck. They're similar thickness, but you can see they're quite a bit shorter. And wait till I actually get them out. I'll compare them to the size of a standard tarot deck. But oh my goodness. Okay, let's get into this. This is a nice little sturdy two-piece box. Nothing really on the inside, but check out these cards. First of all, they're hexagon shaped, which was the entire part of the premise of this deck. I am like beyond excited for these. I love that they came in matte black edged already. Like, I didn't do that. They came that way. I'm really, really excited. And the shape is really intentional. And again, we'll talk about that. But first, let's just talk size. So here is a standard tarot card, and you can see it's about just a little more than half the size of a standard tarot card. So this is, I guess some would say, a mini deck, but I think that for the purpose of the cards, it makes so much sense. The back of the cards sort of mimics the design you see in the background on the front of the cards, but it is this beautiful flower. Oh, is it called the Flower of Life? Sacred geometric shape. And you can tell it's like almost like woven or netted. There's like little knots. Now, what attracted me to this deck in the first place, and the reason that I backed it, is because it's sort of based on the idea of the witch's ladder. So the idea of a witch's ladder where we do not magic, where we tie sacred objects onto like strands of rope or ribbon, and we create this like intentional spell work through attaching sacred items that are meant to symbolize our intention for the working. And so this is a deck with magic in mind. It was created with magic in mind. And in fact, before we go into card by card, it was created, and I'll just take a few and turn them over so we don't spoil ourselves here. It was created with the idea of being able, oh, can I do this without messing up my order? Probably. With the idea of being able to form them together so that all the connecting points connect. And you can, of course, also use the backs in the same way, where you could create crystal grids, you could make a shape, create crystal grids, you could put different objects on this back, so the back is usable as well. But I probably messed up the way things are faced, like direction-wise, but that's fine, we'll deal with that in a moment. So I thought that was a really cool concept, and in a way, this is a very deconstructed look at the tarot. Instead of seeing figures and people on the cards, what we see are objects that represent the energy of that card, which of course opens up a world of possibility for using this deck magically. And I think that is so stinking cool. I just am beside myself because I do like pulling in tarot to my magical work, and I often will pick cards that correspond with something I'm trying to accomplish, and usually I do pull multiple cards. So with this, you can literally pull multiple cards and lay them out, connecting to one another, literally creating a grid, and then you could then charge or boost that grid with your intention. You could add crystals and add herbs. You could do other things. Oh my god, it's very exciting. And I feel like if I were to do that with this deck, and then take a picture of that finished sort of creation of the different cards that have been placed together, I feel like that's something I can add to my Book of Shadows or add to my journal and talk about the working. It's all very exciting. I'm very excited. whatever. We're going to get into this because I'm just wordsing in a special way at the moment. So let's talk about what's on all the cards. Now, I know there was some intention with color here to represent the elements. So for example, in the Fool card, we have charms that are tied onto this little witch's ladder in the background here. So here we have the charm for the element of air. We also have a charm here for Uranus, which I think is awesome. And we also have what looks like the Fool's satchel here attached to the Fool card, which I think is super cool. Uh-oh, I did get my cards out of order. Hold on. That's our High Priestess. Where's our Magician? Here we go. Okay. I knew I was going to do that. All right. So here, I've also messed up the direction. That's okay. We'll sort it out. So that was our Fool. In our Magician, we have charms here for each of the 4 elements. We also have a wand here, a little bottle, I'm assuming to represent water, arrowhead here, I assume to represent fire, and a coin to represent earth, which I think is just really great, especially because arrowheads are often made out of obsidian, which is a volcanic glass, or wait, let me back up. Yeah, it's a volcanic glass, right? Yeah. So that's what that's made of. I know it's made through heat. I think there are also, oh, that's a tektite that I'm thinking of. Anyways, back to volcanic glass. Perfect symbol for fire. I think that works really super well. And I believe, I took a look at the digital guidebook as well for this deck, and I believe that the creator's intention is for you to use the Magician, when you're using this deck for magical work, to use the Magician as your significator or at the center of whatever you're building for spell work, which I think is really clever, because of course it's balanced with all 4 elements. We have our High Priestess. This is so cool. So we have a scrying mirror here. We have a moon charm. The charm for the symbol of water. I'm not entirely sure what this is right here. I feel like it almost could be a slice of pomegranate, but I don't know if I'm seeing that because I want to see that or because that's intended. So if anybody watching this gets an idea of what you think that is, let me know. I know it says in the guidebook, but I didn't bring that to reference because I really wanted to just focus on my own impressions. All right, now we have the Empress. I love this. So we have a queen chess piece. We have a little doll, which makes a lot of sense to me. We also have the charm for the element of earth, as well as a charm for the planet of Venus, and some wheat here, which again perfectly captures some essential symbols and meanings from the Empress card. It's so good. And we can see by the color here that they're associating her with the element of earth, just like we could see in the blues and purples of the High Priestess that she's associated with water. And I could bring in chakras here if I wanted to too. Like this could be very much third eye and throat chakra, for example. Oh, there's the possibilities though. I mean, seriously, the Empress is awesome. Okay, here we have our Emperor. Oh, is the whole thing turned? Oh, well, we've got some different happenings here. some mix-ups. Anyways, here in the Emperor, we have our king chess piece, we have the element of fire, we have Aries and Mars. I love how they're very neatly aligned here. And then there's this almost strengthening extra, like almost something that's been woven into the knotwork around the center with the Egyptian Ankh symbol hanging here. I think that's very cleverly done. Like even in the placement, how aligned they are, it makes so much sense for the Emperor. And this is a beautiful matte cardstock, actually. They feel really nice, for sure. Okay, Lisa, calm down. All right. Our Hierophant, we have our crossed keys. We have a bishop, chess piece, again, brilliant. We have Taurus, the earth symbol, and the Venus symbol here. I'm trying to know how to flip these so that they stay facing the right direction. It's just terribly, like, obsessive of me. Here is the Lovers, and we have this beautiful braided cord that wraps around. This makes me think of a hand-fasting cord. And then we have the element of air symbol. We have Gemini. We have Mercury. And then we have this beautiful little potion bottle, like love potion bottle looking thing happening up there. Sorry, my fingers are all over this, but I feel like I need to touch and point. Here we have the Chariot, and we have a car symbol. The sign for Cancer, and the moon, and fire, and the sun. All of that makes sense for me with the Chariot. Now we're on to Strength. And here we have a lion charm. We have fire, sun, and Leo. And then there's this bright, just this bright golden center. Like I really love that. I just don't know what that's supposed to be. Let's bring it in, see if it'll focus. Love this. I love the play of colors too, so you can really spot the elements. Yeah, they're like all like spun around. I bet it's, yeah, I don't know why. Okay, let's try turning it. Maybe it's this way. Okay. The Hermit we have is Lantern. We have Metatron's Cube, maybe? Question mark? I think that's what that is. Mercury, Virgo, and the element of Earth. The Wheel of Fortune. I love this because we have a full zodiacal wheel here with all 12 astrological signs. As well, we have some other symbols, not all of which I recognize. So we have fire here. I want to say, I feel like it's not Aries. It's too rounded at the bottom. I don't know. We have Jupiter. There's a couple things here I'd have to look up in the guidebook to see what all is here, but I'm digging it. If you recognize what these perimeter symbols are other than Jupiter and fire, which I recognize, I'd be curious what that one, that one, that one, and that one are. Injustice. Oh, this is interesting. We have the scale. We have Venus, Libra, and the element of air. Not entirely sure what this object is right here. I'll probably recognize it like as soon as I see it in the guidebook. But again, I just wanted to see what I could see right away, what I could recognize right away. Why am I missing? Oh, there we go. Because it's matte cardstock. It is not at all any kind of soft touch, velvety or rose petal finish. It's just smooth. I love that the Hanged Man is like this, what do you call it? Puppet here upside down. And then we have the symbol for water and the symbol for Neptune. This has got a very feeling sort of more associated with the idea of sacrifice, I think, here. But I like the idea also of perspective for this card. Death, we have a skull, and then of course we have Scorpio. We have, I always forget which one that is. Is that Jupiter? No, Jupiter's I don't remember what that one is. I feel like I should know that, but I don't remember all of a sudden. Water for death. For Temperance, we have two different pictures, which totally works. We have Mars and Jupiter, and then we have a little dish. Oh, it's like it's filtering or it's moderating it down, and we of course have the element of fire. The Devil. Ooh, interesting. It's like there's like an alcohol bottle, there's a pill bottle. That makes sense for like the sort of common associations for the devil and the way that it tempts us. We have the Earth symbol here, we have Saturn, and we have Capricorn. Which, right, for the devil. That makes sense. Okay, for the Tower, we have the lightning bolt. We have a crown that's upside down. We have fire. We have Mars. Curious what these other two objects... Oh, it's a broken tower. Like, you know, the... what's that symbol? That chess piece. The one with the... Is it actually called the castle? That one is broken. And the bolt is going right between it. That's super clever, actually. Yeah, that's super clever. The star. Lots of little stars. One big, giant star. Love that. We have air. We have Aquarius. And we have Uranus. For the moon, we have the dog and the wolf. They look kind of like just two different kinds of dogs, though. That looks like a dachshund and like a, I don't know, another type of dog. But we have the crayfish or the lobster here, depending on how you look at it. We have Neptune. Why am I spacing? That's not Gemini. That is... Y'all, I'm like suddenly spacing. What is that? I can't remember. Is that Gemini? No. Water. Is that a... No, that's not Aquarius. Pisces. Oh my God. That's Pisces. I totally could not remember for a second. I love that we get the actual cycles of the moon as well in the central plate of this little netted area here. And then we have the sun. We have like sort of laurel wreath looking things happening here. We have the bright sun, and then we have the symbol for the sun and the symbol for fire. Judgment, we have almost like it's a whistle, it looks like to me. We have the coffin, the whistle, the feather, and then we have Mercury, right? No, that's not Mercury. That's the other one I can't remember. Is it like Pluto? I bet it's Pluto. And there's fire. I bet that's Pluto. I never remember Pluto's sigil, so it's probably Pluto. Why am I having a hard time with spatial? Okay, then we have the world, we have the laurel here, we have the earth, we have earth symbol and Saturn, which works for the world. Okay, let's get into the minors now. So I'm going to set my majors over here for a moment. So our minors are all going to be associated with the element of water, but here we have the dove, and we have an overflowing pitcher, which really works for the ace. And in the 2, we have 2 bottles, each different, but sort of facing each other. And we also have that caduceus and the water symbol. In the 3, we have 3 water bottles and a sort of bloom of flowers. That really works as well. I'm assuming that water charm is going to be on all of the cups, so I'm not going to keep pointing that out. Here we have 4 equal cups with a lotus in the center. In the 5, we have 5 cups, but it looks like there's more chaos here, like they're not well organized. There's also something else happening in the background. Oh, it's a butterfly wing, it looks like, or something. I literally cannot wait to dip into the guidebook and really, because I just kind of glanced at the intro before filming, but I'm really excited to get into it in more detail. The 6 of Cups. And I feel like if you already have an association with what a lot of these cards mean, that looks like a mirror there, by the way. If you already have an association with what a lot of these cards mean, then working with this, then magically will become, you know, fairly simple to figure out which cards you want to work with. Here in the 7 of Cups, there are definitely 7, and they're all labeled to look different. And it looks like there's a 7 of Hearts kind of, or it's implied, kind of playing card on the table as well, or in the knotwork. The 8 of Cups, like that we have a sort of moon there as well. The 9 of Cups, pretty. And the 10 of Cups, there's a rainbow in the back there, very neatly aligned. And then we have our page, so we have the little pawn chess piece and a single bottle. The knight. We have our knight chess piece, of course, and a single bottle. We also have the sign there for Pisces. I remembered this time. Woo, go me. All right, the Queen of Cups, we have the Queen chess piece and the sign for Cancer. So Cancer for the Queen of Cups. And for the King of Cups, we have Scorpio and the King chess piece, of course. And now we're into the Wands suit. So I'm just going to place these piles up above so I can try to remember who's who here. All right, so Ace of Wands, the 2 of Wands, we have the globe there, and we have that plotting like map, that thingy, whatever, compass, I think it's called. Love that. Here we have a spyglass, so perfect for the 3 of Wands. For the 4 of Wands, we have like celebratory things, right? We have this big flower, we have these sort of curlicues, like confetti style. Love that. For the 5 of Wands, they're just the 5 crossed wands with all of this messy knotwork, like intentionally chaotic knotwork, which I think really works. And then the 6 of Wands with the laurel here, as well as the 6 wands. The 7 of Wands, we have sort of one central wand that looks like it's flaming or has a flame on it, and then it's across these other 6 wands. For the 8 of Wands, I love this. We've got the feather to indicate that speed element. For the 9 of Wands, we have a band-aid. I love that. So we have the 9 wands, and then we have a band-aid. And of course, we do still have the elemental symbol here. The 10 wands, we have, it looks like some more knotwork here that's kind of created this extra thick, kind of extra layer of wands all bound to the netting. And then this big bottle in the center, it looks like. I'd be curious to see what the guidebook says about that one. And then, of course, we have our page with our pawn, chess piece pawn again. I love the genderless nature of this, too, is that anybody can be a knight, and the chess pieces are such a wonderful way to associate it. Here we have the Knight of Wands associated with the Sagittarius. I may have said Mars earlier when I saw that. That's the sign for Sagittarius. Some of you were like, Lisa. I know. I'm sorry. All right. The Queen of Wands, we have Aries with our Queen chess piece. And the King of Wands, we have Leo, which definitely works for the King of Wands. And then we have our Ace of Swords. So we're into our swords suit now. Let's just set this pile up here. Actually, I can flip these over. So let me just flip my piles over so I know what I've got up here and which direction they're facing. Okay. Majors, cups, and wands. So we're into swords now. Okay, interesting. So the 2 of Swords, I'm guessing this is the blindfold, and then 2 arrowheads to represent that decision or that choice. The Three of Swords. Oh, interesting. This is like a photograph with somebody scratched out of it. That's super interesting. And then 3 arrowheads. One is there, bound over top of the one figure that remains in the photo. And then 2 more arrowheads. I like the arrowheads being the symbol of the sword suit, which actually makes me realize that in the Magician card, the arrowhead would have been the sword. Hold on, let's go back to this for a second. In the Magician, so this would have actually been the sword. I was thinking this was fire. So I wonder then, so the wand, of course, is fire. I can't believe I didn't notice that earlier. So, of course, the wand is fire. That's our blades or our swords. Then we have the coin for pentacles, and we have the bottle for cups. Of course, that makes sense in hindsight. I get it now. Some of you were probably hollering at the screen earlier, like, Lisa, you can't have 2 fires. All right, anyways, a 4 of swords here we have. I love the sort of peaceful nature of the olive branch here in the 4 of swords. That's a really cool symbol to use. 5 of swords, we just have our 5 arrowheads. 6 of swords, we have the little boat symbol in the center. 7 of swords. What is that? I want to know what that is so bad. Hold on, let's see if I can hold it up to the viewfinder if I get any like wild ideas about what that could mean. Somebody's going to be looking at this and they're going to know right away. Oh, is that a poison ring? I think that's a poison ring. So if you don't, I think I could be totally off my rocker, but a poison ring used to be a ring that had a little cavity inside where you could hide, I guess, poison, theoretically. Although I imagine it was used for other things, but I don't know what the actual true history of poison rings are, but that's what that makes me think of. I could be completely wrong. It's probably something else entirely, but, you know, if that's what it is, that's cool. 8 of swords, all bound up, the chess piece. And it's interesting here because it looks like it's the queen chess piece that's bound up, which is super interesting. And then all the swords surrounding, or all the arrowheads surrounding. And then in our 9 of swords, this is interesting. I feel like this might be intended to be mugwort or something in the center. I don't know. It could be also intended to be lavender. Interesting. Again, that's when I want to see the guidebook and see. The 10 of swords, all in a jumbled mess. They've like the actual knotwork of the background. Like if you really look at what the knotwork's supposed to look like, that's all destroyed. So there's a feeling of destruction to this card for sure. The Page of Swords, there's our pawn. And then for the knight, we have Gemini. For the queen, we have Libra. And for the king, we have Aquarius. And now we're into the pentacles. So here we have our ace, and we have a pine cone there as well as a coin. For the 2, we have an hourglass that's tipped over, which really speaks to time management, I think. And then we've got 2 coins. I love how there's different kinds of currencies and coins here. That's really cool. The 3 of Pentacles has, interestingly, what looks like a medal. Oh, it looks like an Olympic medal. And then the 3 pentacles. It could be speaking to, yeah, teamwork, I guess. Olympics, that makes sense, right? I could be making that up. Like, I don't know how much of this is just pure intuition and how much of it is actually what's intended. Here we have the 4 of Pentacles. This is super interesting because you have the 4 coins, but if you look behind the netting, there's a coin purse. And you get this idea that the financial resources or the money are kind of locked up tight behind all this netting, right? All this knotwork. Here we have the 5 of Pentacles. And this, again, looks like a pill bottle to me. I don't know if I'm just seeing that or like what that's supposed to represent. I'll have to look that one up too. The 6 of Pentacles. It almost looks like a letter or something behind. Oh my gosh, I'm just fascinated by this entire deck. The 7 of Pentacles, and we have a crop of some kind. It looks like raspberries or something, all tied up with the knotwork. And then in the 8 of Pentacles, like a full garden back there. It's interesting how a lot of the objects are tied to the back, right? Which makes sense because, of course, we're protecting our resources in the Pentacle suit. In the 9 of Pentacles, what is this object here? It's going to like be an instant aha when I read the book, but some of them I'm just not immediately recognizing. The 10 of Pentacles, I love the abundance of the coins in that card. And then, of course, we have our page, who's the pawn. Our knight has a coin, of course, and the symbol for Virgo. Hello? And down to the bottom, so they're getting harder to pick up. Our queen is, wait, oh, Capricorn. That's right. And our king is Taurus. All right, so let me zoom back out. And let's take a look at all of our piles here. So we have cups here and pentacles here. Wands and, no, hold on. Cups, swords, wands, and pentacles. So you can really see the colors too. So you can really pull in that elemental idea. And then we have the majors. Now, this is a deck that I'm very likely to keep in order. But what if we were to, let me just put these piles up here. So we have fire, water, air, and earth. Let's put those out of the way for a second. So if I were to build a mandala, right? Let's say we were putting the magician in the center, just so we can see what this might look like. So we're putting the magician in the center, and then we wanted to pull something from each element. We might put wands right there. We might put cups right there. Might put swords down here. And pentacles right there. How freaking cool is this? And then maybe we do the High Priestess. I just want to play with this. And the Empress. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. But look at that. And so you bring it all together and you have this grid for magical work. How satisfying is that, though, to look at? Like, it's really, really cool. So this is not something I intend to use for readings. This is absolutely something I intend to work with magically. It is, you can definitely use it for readings. And there were, when I was flipping through the guidebook, just kind of getting a feel for it, there definitely were spreads and other exercises. The guidebook does look very, very well done. I just have to actually spend some time looking over it and getting more familiar with it. But I plan to keep this deck in its order and work with it, again, magically, because I really enjoy pulling tarot into my witchy practice, and this is just such a perfect way to do that. I'm really pleased with this. So I am super curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Is this something that you would consider picking up, that you would work with? I love the premise of it. I think it's really super cool. If I remember correctly, it was not very expensive to back it on Kickstarter. And I will have a link down below if it's available somewhere to order currently, now that these have been shipped. I'm assuming if the pre-orders aren't open yet or the orders aren't open yet, that they will be soon. I just think it's a very practical, usable little deck, particularly for magical work. I think what I need to do now is really read through the guidebook and identify the few symbols that didn't just immediately jump out at me. But I'm really excited to do that. So that was super fun. Thank you for hanging out with me while I took a tour through this deck. As always, please do remember to click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new here, and don't forget to click that little notification bell. Thank you all so, so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.